Welcome to graphing exponential functions with transformations. We're going to do two examples. This is Unit 6, Lesson 4/5, more so Lesson 5. So here we go. We are going to graph this function here. Let me just highlight it for you. So here he is. There's the function we're going to graph. As you can see, it's got all the values here. So here, my a value is -2. My b value is 2. My h value is -3, and my k value is 8. All right. Also, really important here, I'm going to write this all by itself. My n value, the base here, is 3. How do I know that's the base? Because that's what the exponent is on, right? 3 to the exponent of 2x minus 3. So this guy here is going to drive a lot of what we do here. These are transformations. This is the base. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to write our asymptote. Our asymptote is always y equals k, so here y equals 8. It says graph it, but let's decide before we graph it what our interval on y is going to be. So step 1, asymptote. We'll graph it in a second. Step 2, we want to fill in the base table values. So here, my n value is 3. This is greater than 1, so that means my x values will be 0, 1, and 2. Well, when will my x values be different than that? Your x values will be different than this if your n value is less than 1. So that means my x values will be here, 0, 1, 2. My y values, and my y is actually equal just to 3, my base, to the exponent of x. So this first one's going to be 3 to the exponent of 0. That's 1, so I can write that 1 there. Next one is going to be 3 to the exponent of 1. That's 3. And the last one is going to be 3 to the exponent of 2, so that is 9. So my base table values will change depending on what my base is, what my n value is. All right, so there's my base table values. Again, the x's can change, the y's change depending on the x's, but there we go. We'll do an example, our next example, where n is less than 1. You'll see how that changes things up. All right, so here, our x's, we're going to multiply by 1 over b and add h. Switch the sign of h, of course. So here we go. I am going to take my x, which is 0, multiply it by the reciprocal of b, so 1 over 2, and then I'm going to add 3. So this is going to be 3. The next one is going to be 1 times 1 over 2 plus 3. So this is going to be 3.5. The next one is going to be 2 times 1 over 2 plus 3. And this is going to be 4. So these are my x values. My y values, again, here I'm going to take my original y, 1, multiplying by a, so my a value is -2. And then add my k, so that is going to be 8. So my first one will be 6. Next one I'm going to take is 3, so 3 times -2 plus 8. So this guy here is -6 plus 8 is 2. And the last one is going to be 9 times -2 plus 8. And this guy here will be -18 plus 8 is -10. So there we go. So looks like I got a lot of, for my y's, a lot of even numbers. My asymptote is an even number 2, so I'm actually going to go by 2's here. So let's say this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Same thing down here. 2, 4, -4, -8, and -12. All right, ready to graph my asymptote. My asymptote is y equals 8. So I'm going to take from my nice dotted line here. We'll do it in a nice lime green. And we'll graph a line at y equals 8. Here it is right there, not bad. Then there's our asymptote. So step 1 in graphing. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my points. My first one is 3, 6. So 3, 6 is right here. My next one is 3.5 and 2. 3.5 and 2 is right here. And my last one is 4, -10. 4, -10 is right about here. I've got my points. This is where it gets a bit tricky. So I'm going to draw a line starting on my left near the asymptote because it looks like it's going to be decreasing. And I'm just going to connect the dots and put arrows here at the end, put an arrow here. This is not perfect, so I'm trying to do it on my computer screen, but you can see there's my beautiful exponential function. Y-intercept. My y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So I plug in x equals 0 here. I'm going to get -2 to the 3 to the -6 plus 8. I'm not sure what that is, so this is going to be 0. I'm going to cheat a little bit, hope you don't mind. So I'm going to do this in, oops, where are you? Watching some, all right, where are we? Here we go. Nice thing about Desmos is it can actually do some math for you. Actually, I'll pull this here, so it is -2 bracket 3 and bracket. Oh, of course, I don't have the exponent button. Let's get rid of this. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. To the -6. Whoops. -6 plus 8. So here my y-intercept is 7.997. 7.997. Let's go back here. So my y-intercept is 0 and, oops, 7.997. All right, y-intercept asymptote. We already got that. Y equals 8. Whoops. Range. Y such that y is less than, y, my a value is negative, 8, y-e-r. My domain is a joke, x such that x-e-r. Sorry about my terrible writing, that is an x. Increasing, decreasing, so going from left to right, we can see my y values are getting smaller, so this would be a decreasing function. Whoops. If you want the transformations, I'm going to go refer you to Google Classroom. So see lesson 5 in Google Classroom. I will say them though. Whoops. Reflected with the x-axis, vertically stretched by a factor of 2. Those are my a values. My b value horizontally compressed by a factor of 1/2. Horizontally shifted 3 units to the right, and finally vertically shifted up 8 units. So there it is. I just said them. I'm not going to write them down, but if you want to see them in Google Classroom,